In this video, I'll walk you through how we generate hundreds and thousands of high quality leads that actually close to business using disruptive advertising. That means Facebook ads, Instagram ads, or even TikTok ads, and how this differs with pay-per-click advertising such as Google ads or YouTube ads. Hi, my name is McBilly. I'm the co-founder of Good Vibe Squad, and we are the only mortgage-focused marketing agency that not only helps loan officers grow profitable advertising through lead generation, but we have the data and proof to back it up, where even top leaders in the industry, such as Barry Habib, trust us and hire us for our expertise. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a behind the scene look at one of our coaching calls inside our exclusive community in Good Vibe Squad. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So let me kind of just show you guys some key differences with the way that we are advertising and how you even want to think about marketing and advertising in different platforms. So for Meta, the way that we're running ads is we're using what's called disruptive advertising. And we're enticing, and I'll explain what that means. Now, for Google ads, there are several ways to do this. You can either do, for example, like, search. There's like Google search ads. And what this is this one is pay per click, okay? Pay per click advertising, which I'm sure you guys have probably heard the terminology PPC. That is what actually what that stands for, is pay per click. And so what's the difference here? The difference is when you are, the difference between this is when we are, if you have to think about the social platforms, they are an auction. Okay, so this is the best way to kind of think about this. Is, whether you're using Facebook, whether you're using Google, or whether you're using TikTok, which TikTok pretty much kind of like copied Facebook's whole advertising platform. And so this is what's called an auction. And so what that means is it is basically a bidding system is how we are doing the advertising. And so now the key difference here, though, is for Google, because it is a pay-per-click advertising, you're actually going to pay per, like, anybody that clicks on the ad, you're actually paying for it. And so now, and then generally, the downside with this is generally going to be much more expensive. Okay, so this is going to be more expensive generally. Okay, now there's pros and cons. So that's one of the con is generally this is more expensive. Now there's pros for this one too, though. The pro with Google ads, and if you are bidding on specific keywords that people are typing in Google, they are usually going to be higher intent, right? Meaning because, well, I'm literally typing in Google saying, hey, loan officer in Chicago, right? Or mortgage, near me, right? Or, get pre-approved, today, right? Or whatever. And so they're usually going to be higher intent. Now, but again, the additional con here is one, it's going to be much more expensive because you're going to be competing against like literally billion-dollar companies. For example, Zillow. Zillow, they literally advertise on Google, right? So if you search, stuff in Google, you're now competing against these like big companies with like deep pockets and huge advertising budgets. Now, the other downside with people that are searching is, like, think about it. Like, actually, I'm genuinely curious for everyone here. When you are searching in Google, if you are in research mode, how many of you guys here, what is the average like, how many websites do you guys open? Like, I'm curious. Like, let's put it in there. Like, do you guys just choose the top one? Do you choose the top three? Do you choose like top five? Like, what is your habit right now? Hollis is three. Okay. Top three. So you search something, top three, Trace is three, Mats is three, Melissa probably five if there's five. Okay. So there you go. So that is the answer to that's the other con for people that are searching because they're like in research mode, technically speaking, they are absolutely higher intent. The problem though is when they are in research mode, they are also in the they are because they are they're more solution aware, right? Because they're more solution aware, they are looking at options, and so they are in comparing mode, right? And so that's the problem here is yes, you're going to get higher intent of people, but they're usually going to be, price shopping, they're like constantly comparing and stuff like that, right? Now, that's still not a bad thing, but it's just a different strategy, right? Because you're going to need to have bigger budgets and you're going to need to be like really like on it with like, really competitive pricing because these people are like price shopping, right? And so that's kind of like the con there. Now, on the flip side to us, the way that we are advertising in for Meta, right? So for disruptive marketing, it's the opposite. Okay, because the reason why it's disruptive is because the people that are in social media, they're not necessarily looking for a loan, like at that very moment, right? They're not necessarily looking for a loan at that very moment. However, because of how we are targeting them, and Facebook literally has, one of the most, scarily accurate, data point. I mean, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this. I'm actually genuinely curious for everyone here. Put it in the chat. Like sometimes my wife and I would be like talking about something completely unrelated, and then suddenly, it's just like it's like I see an ad for that same exact thing that we just talked about, like right now, right? And so, like that, I mean, even if Facebook denies it, your phone is like listening to you, okay? And so it's kind of scary. And so what that means is this is how we're at. This is part of the thing that we are actually taking advantage of, is because we are tapping into the vast data of Facebook. And if we know that they are interested in buying a home, if we know that they are in that specific demographic, geographic location, and then also the specific affinity, right? This is why we are advertising specifically per affinity, let's say healthcare professionals, first time, or like first responders, I mean, or like teachers, or right now, the new campaign that I'm talking about is government employees, right? And so we know that there's a little bit more, like they're somewhat interested, but now there's also pros and cons for this one, right? So think about this. So the con here is because they are usually less intent, right? There's less intent compared to this one. There's less intent, but it can also be a major positive for us, right? And if you guys notice, this is how our whole policies reference to target baby products. Oh man. One of my cousin, actually, it's kind of funny. They were trying to get pregnant, and they're kind of going through that whole process, and she starts getting all these ads for like freezing her eggs, like ads. Like what? Like that's an insult. But anyway, now they're usually less intent for disruptive marketing. However, this is an absolute positive for us as long as we have our sales process and CRM and follow-up dialed in, right? Because usually people here are also less like they're like less comparing, right? As long as you do a great job making that first impression, really deepening that relationship, right? That can be a positive for us, right? And then now the other thing, so the pro here though, the absolute pro for this is you have the ability to scale. Okay, so what does that mean? And why is this important? What this means is the problem also with pay-per-click, okay? So there's another con here that I haven't mentioned. The con for pay-per-click is you have to wait for somebody to actually search for something, right? Like think about that. So this is more like you're waiting. And if you guys, look more into this, there's so many tools and, we use these tools and there's what they usually call, there's monthly searches, right? What this, or like search volumes, I mean. So there's like monthly volume of searches on average because, well, now you got to wait for people to actually search for it, right? Now, the pro with what we're doing, though, is we have absolute scale because we're not waiting for them to search for something. We know that, hey, if you have had experience or, you're talking to your wife and, Facebook knows that you guys are thinking of like buying a house, then I know. And if you are a first responder, then we're going to target our ads in front of you, right? And then we are disrupting them as they're scrolling through Facebook. Like that's why it's called disruptive marketing. Now, the downside there is you need to have a powerful hook and a reason for them to reach out, right? Because if I just say, hey, if you're looking to buy a house, I can help. Okay, well, that's, they're not really going to reach out. And that is why we created the Hero Home program, right? Now, the Hero Home program is essentially, this is your hook. It's really basically just a reason for them to reach out. This is, this is like our main hook. And so part of the strategy, and it's really, really important for us, for you guys, is they're reaching out because of the Hero Home program. But our goal is we need to make that first conversation less just about the Hero Home program, but ultimately deepening into what their goals are, how you could really help them, and then ultimately elevating them to take an application and work with you. Does this make sense? Do you guys see the difference? And any questions on this one? Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back to Ryan's questions though. So with TikTok really under fire, has Jubius thought about other places? What do you mean by this, Ryan? Can you expound on this? Are you saying like TikTok being like banned or something? Like I know there's
So in Utah, what our legislation is actually trying to do is basically just ban TikTok as a whole, obviously for all the concerns and things like that. So I was just kind of curious as to would the marketing dollars go more back into just the other the 4 platforms that you guys currently have, or if you guys thought of something else, or just from an advertising standpoint, because you want to spread it out, obviously.
So that's a good question, right? So there's absolutely yes and no. Okay, so let's kind of tap into your first statement. Your statement is, well, of course you want to spread it out. There's truth to that, but it depends on the budget, right? Because if you think about it, it's actually there's when you guys are advertising and when we're advertising, and this is literally what we do with even with for you guys for your ads, there's really what you call an optimization process. So I'll kind of, I won't go, too nerdy here, but I'll go a little bit kind of, more technical here, just so you guys can better understand how we're doing this. So how this works is for any platform, whether you're using Facebook, whether you're using, Google, whether you're using TikTok, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. There is what you call, there's like I'm sure you guys have heard of like the Facebook pixel, right? Actually here, I'm curious. Who here, do you guys understand like how the Facebook pixel works? Or who here like understands it or not really, put in the chat. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, I understand it, or no, not really. Or I don't really care to understand it. Trey says, I get it. Yep. Well, for you, Trey, I'm not very surprised. I'm not surprised at all, since I know you are a software engineer. Paul says, no, don't understand how it works. Is that for targeting? So Sean, it's not for targeting necessarily. You could use it for retargeting. Okay, so Paul says, how does it work? Okay, so let me explain this to you guys. Really, just think of like the Facebook pixel, and there's so many different names for this, depending on the platform, right? So, for example, don't be confused that the word pixel, this is just the term that Facebook uses to talk about their own specific kind of pixel code. For example, for Google, they use the term tag, okay? But it basically means the same thing. So there's Google tag, there's Google Facebook pixel, but really what this is, it is basically just a piece of code that when you place this, so what you do here is you embed this code on your website. And what this does is it will add a cookie. So a cookie, it will add a cookie to visitors so that you could track them now. Okay. So that's kind of a simplified version of how to explain this. Okay. So, okay, but how is this relevant and why is this important to understand? Well, what we do, and so if you think about it, right now, I'll just use Facebook as an example. Okay. So you have the Facebook platform, right? So if you use, for example, it could be the website, it could be the app, right? If you use the mobile app for Facebook. And so for Facebook, remember, Facebook's whole business model is they are a data company. They're literally they literally got sued for having too much data. Okay. Knowing so much about, every single person. And so they're a data company. And so for Facebook, if you are inside their platform, so this is, if you're inside their platform, they are able to track every single activity that you could do inside a platform. And they really do. They track, which one you click, how you click it. And this is like scary stuff too, because, it really like, they actually even know. And I think it's gotten to a point where they're starting to even like actually measure where your eyes focus on, and stuff like that, because they want to see even on the page, as you're scrolling, when you stop your scroll, that means that, okay, there's a reason why you stop. So whatever is on the screen actually hooked you, right? And so they've gone to that level of detail, and they're tracking every single thing, whether you're clicking something, if you are scrolling something. And so if you're like, and you guys may have noticed this already, when you're scrolling something in Instagram, even if you don't click on it, even if you don't, do anything, if you stop, that is actually an engagement for that specific piece of content, because what the platform is saying is like, oh, okay, this person stopped their scroll. That means that they're interested in this, whatever it is that I'm showing right now. And so that's actually a piece of data that they even track. Now, the cool thing about this too is if we understand this for us on the content creation side, this is also really important, because from a click-through rate, meaning, how do you create compelling thumbnails, right? Like the start of the video to really hook them in. So it's important to understand that. But the reason why this is important is if you are using Facebook's platform, whether it's you're on your website or they're on their app, they're able to track, they're able to track every single activity that you do, right? But the problem is, well, what if you click out? So if you click out of Facebook, and then I bring you to, for example, I'll just use an example. If I bring you to the Hero Home program landing pages that we built for you guys, right? So if you have, the landing page for the Hero Home program, well, Facebook is not able to track your activity set anymore. And that is where the Facebook pixel comes in, right? This is why this is important, because what we do, and we've already optimized all of the funnels and the assets that we've built for you guys, is this specific piece of code is we actually add that code onto all of every single page that we built. That way, even if people click out of Facebook, we're able to keep track of it, right? We're able to keep track of their movements, their, whether they opt in here, if they schedule an appointment, right? Stuff like that. And so, so that's how the Facebook pixel works. Okay. Any questions on this? Does it make sense? Make sense? Okay. So now,
One other quick question. The reason,
oh, go ahead.
well, is this information stored on the cookies?
Is the information stored in the cookies?
Yeah, for when they track you.
Yes. So basically, so if you guys even know, I'm sure you guys have heard of the whole like Apple iOS, nightmare, where, so basically this is what happened. Because the data is stored inside the cookie, right? And how the cookie works is when, let's say you open up a website, how the pixel works is it's going to drop a cookie into your browser. Okay? So on your browser, whether you're using the computer or whether you're using your mobile app, the phone, it's going to drop a cookie in the browser. And so that way, now every time I open up, any other pages that has the pixel, now Facebook knows, and just to be clear, there's privacy here, right? So Facebook doesn't necessarily actually know who you are, but Facebook can connect who you are to the specific account without necessarily knowing, who you are from a privacy perspective. Okay, just to clarify on that. But basically, to answer your question, Paul, yes, the data, your specific data, is stored inside the cookie. And this is why, if you notice, if you clear your cookies, you kind of sign out, like you now you have to like re-log in again, right? And then that actually clears. If you clear your cookie, then I won't be able to track you anymore at that specific moment. But then when you log in again and then you open up the site again, now I'm going to re-cookie you. Does that make sense, Paul?
Yes.
Cool. Now, okay, so cool. We understand how the Facebook pixel works, but why is this relevant? And how do we actually take advantage of this when we are running your campaigns? Okay. And so, all right. So we know that we're able now to track down to the user level, right? Because I know if you are logged in here, and this is where the magic really happens, is because Facebook knows if you are logged in here as Paul, okay, let's say you're logged into Facebook, and then you click an ad, and then I bring you to the Hero Home program landing page, what that's going to do is the piece of code is going to drop a cookie on your browser right now. And so if you go to, for example, other websites, right? And this is where, Sean, what you were talking about, the retargeting comes in, is because let's say you go to whatever, right? ESPN. If you go to ESPN or if you go to Disney, well, even though you're an ESPN or Disney, because ESPN and Disney also has the Facebook Pixel installed on their website, then Facebook knows that this is the same Paul that originally came from here, right? And so I'm able to like retarget ads no matter where you go, because I know, or Facebook knows at least, not me, Facebook knows that it's you, right? And I'm able to set that up that way in when we are running your campaigns. Now, here's where the magic happens, okay? Because of this capability, when we are running advertising, what we're telling Facebook is there's different objective types, the one we are running. So I'll just give you guys kind of a high level strategy here. When you are doing advertising in, I'll just use Facebook. Okay. But this applies to any platform. This could be Google, this could be YouTube, even this could be TikTok. So when you are advertising, there's what you call a campaign objective. Okay, so what does that mean? A campaign objective is really, it's a way for us to tell the advertising platform, particularly in this example, Facebook, what is my objective when I am running my campaigns. Okay, so what does that mean? So Ryan says, so I guess that's what I was trying to get at. Is there a certain amount of websites or a website that the higher percentage of healthcare people are visiting? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Certain amount of websites or a website that the higher percent of healthcare people are visiting. Gotcha.
So I guess what I was trying to say is that's kind of where I was getting at with the marketing dollars that, if TikTok's not going to be a thing anymore, do you guys track where these people are visiting through those cookies that you could say, okay, well, if we've got 90% of these people are clicking on ESPN or clicking on, I don't know, sprouts.com, maybe that money goes to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yes. So great question. So to answer your question, yes, the way that we are optimizing your campaigns, it's actually much more powerful than just tracking where they're going, Ryan, because the problem with what you're saying, and before, this used to be the way to advertise, okay? Before, the way to advertise was to select, hey, let me go to, nurses.com. Like literally, I could go to nurses.com, this is before, and then tell nurses.com, hey, nurses.com, I want to strike an advertising deal with you specifically because I know that is where these nurses hang out. And so I want to start advertising with nurses.com, right? So this is the way, the old way of doing things. Now, the problem with that is, well, now you got to like go one-to-one, right? You're going to have to like, okay, where's all the nurse websites? Now I got to like, talk to each one of them and kind of strike that deal and, and all that. Now, the cool thing with Facebook is it's not the case anymore because Facebook has basically decentralized the whole advertising platform. And I mean, this is why they're literally, this is what made Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, one of the, richest man in the world, is because of this whole concept, right? Where right now, because everybody uses the Facebook pixel, then it doesn't matter. All I'm doing is I'm telling Facebook, hey, Facebook, find me more nurses just like this one. And so it doesn't matter whether they go to nurses.com, they go to ESPN.com, they go to Disney, we are able to target them. Okay, so that's where the magic happens. And so, for example, when I am doing some sort of campaign objective, when I'm setting up the campaigns, when we're setting up the campaigns for you guys, there's different ways to go about this. You could say, hey, Facebook, I want this campaign to be, so there's different, so you could actually do, for example, the objective is you could make it conversion. You could optimize for conversion. I'll explain what that is. You could optimize for conversion. You could optimize for website clicks, for example. You could optimize for engagement. Okay, engagement. You could optimize for reach, for example. Okay, so and there's more. There's more. There's actually a lot of different objectives, but I'll give you guys 4 tangible examples that is 100% applicable for you guys. Okay, and how we run the campaigns for you guys, so that you have a much better understanding of this. Is when we say, okay, when I say conversion, I can go to Facebook and tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, I have this budget. So my budget is $1,000 per month, let's just say, for you guys. And I'm going to say, hey, Facebook, I want you to optimize my campaigns by finding, so find me more people that will do a specific action that is whatever the conversion is. So this one is like, I could actually tell Facebook what is the specific action that I want. This is what the conversion campaign is. Okay. And so, for example, when we run your campaigns, depending on the objective, is we could optimize for lead generation, meaning we could tell, okay, when we run the ads and we're running all the campaigns for you guys, if a nurse goes through the survey and actually qualifies, because we also disqualify people, right? If they have poor credit, we're going to disqualify them. We tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, don't give me any more of these poor credit, right? But for if they have good credit and they actually go through and we're able to, generate that lead, now I could tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, perfect. This lead is exactly who I want. They are a healthcare professional. They are in this specific geolocation. And, based on these other criteria that we asked in the questions on the survey, we're going to tell Facebook, oh, perfect. I want more of these people. And then go ahead and find me more of these people, right? So find me more of these people. And so that is how we're able to optimize if we're running a conversion campaign, right? Now, you could also
Real
do,
quick,
there you go.
how does Facebook know who to go out to look for based on the answers to the question in your questionnaire? Like you just said that. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So great question. So, you're kind of getting a little bit ahead here, but I'll answer your question, Sean, and I'll go back.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
No,
Okay.
no worries. I mean, this is a great question. So, like, you'd
Sean,
wonder-
are you hijacking it this time or no?
Okay. So, all right. So this is how it works, right? When you think about it, a great question. You're like, well, how is that even possible, right? So how we're doing this is when we run ads, right? And this is why, this is quite complicated, guys. And that's why, like, you guys could see there's actually a lot of like setup and thought process and optimization that we do here. But really what we do is when we set up the ad in the platform, right? There's different ways that you could do this. There's a lot of things that you do. There's like the targeting, right? You could do that. There's specific targeting on the front end that you do. And then, we put in specific, creatives, right? And then the ads themselves, right? But ultimately, when they go through the survey that we create, right? So we have, let's say they go through the survey here, okay? And then they answer specific questions, right, through the survey. And so how we're able to do this is based on their answers, we actually push them to multiple different additional pages that we redirect to, okay? So what does that mean? The reason why this is important, and this is where the complexity lies, is if I, let's just say, I'll just say an example, good credit here, and then I'll say bad credit here. If they answer that they're good credit, we're going to send them to a different page with a specific FB pixel. Now, if they're a bad credit, we're going to send them to a different page with a different Facebook pixel, right? And so we're going to have another pixel here. So let's just say, I'm going to say this is pixel 1 and this is pixel 2, right? And so now here's the cool part about this, Sean, is if we know as they're answering the survey, if they have the right answers for the survey that we want to be optimizing for, we're going to send them to a page that we want. And if we don't want that answer, we're going to send them to a page that we don't want. And then what we tell Facebook is we're going to feed this data back into Facebook and then telling Facebook, hey, find me more people that are hitting our Pixel 1 custom audience. Does this make more sense? And then also an even advanced thing here is like, okay, find me more people that are like Pixel 1, but then also I could also feed back this information right here, and I'm gonna feed it back here, and then I'm gonna say, hey, disqualify and actually remove more people that are similar to Pixel 2, right? So now you could even like layer in, and it's like, this is where it's like, it's really powerful, right? And so like, this is how, and this is why, I mean, we have literally millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of pixel data. And that is why we're able to really optimize for your campaigns, because we just keep feeding back this data to Facebook. Does it make sense? Right? And
I love it. I love that.
right. And so if you think about it, so here's also the beautiful thing about this, guys, and why, sometimes, and we've had this conversation before, this is why, it's such this is where the abundance mindset really comes in, right? Because if you have scarcity mindset, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to share, I don't want to share this data, oh, I just want, this area is only me. Well, guys, if you're spending like $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000, that is a drop in the bucket, right? You're not able to really fully optimize the campaign if you do not have enough data feeding back into the pixel, right? Like this is where the pixel optimization really comes in, because we actually want more people going through this so that we could consistently, feed back data. And then this is how our advertising is really optimizing. Sound good?
So it sounds like, to go back to my question, those marketing dollars, it sounds like the number one and number two are Facebook and Instagram, right? As far as the advertising side.
Oh,
Obviously.
100%, Ryan, 100%.
And then one other question I had real quick is, how does AI play into all this? I'm not a big techie person, but obviously AI is a big deal. How is this going to work out? Especially, I look at this as an investment.
This is also really your key advantage for you guys, is because with the proliferation of AI, this is why it is so much more important to really position you as the expert and really focus on relationships, right? Because this will never be replaced by AI, right? And so, for example, we talked about like our content framework that we talked about like last week, where we talked about the SCP content matrix, your skills, your experience, and then your passion. These are things that AI, I don't want to say never, because I don't know, but it's going to take a long time, for AI to actually have a real personality, right? And so like your personality, who you are, your values, what you believe in, the way that you approach things, and the experience, this is something that AI cannot replace, right? And even, for example, from a scripting perspective, guys, and I've shown you guys, different scripting frameworks that we've used with ChatGPT and AI and stuff like that. But here's the thing. Like, it's honestly very obvious, and I don't know if you guys can tell from you guys, but just because I use AI already so much and I'm so used to it, that I know that if the script is AI generated, I know it's ChatGPT, right? And so I'll share. We consume and we invest a lot in ourselves. Preston and I, we've actually invested over $100,000 in courses, in coaching, and mentorships and stuff like that. And so I really believe in investments, right? In investing in myself, right? And so there was only one time, and we bought a lot of courses, we bought a lot of information. And my mindset always is like, if I could just take one thing out of this, then it's going to be worth it, right? And so there's only one time out of everything that I bought, one time that I regretted it and I got pissed off. Okay, I got really pissed off at this one because so it was basically they had this like short form video mastery. I'll even tell you what it is. It's shortformvideomastery.com, right? So I bought this like short form video course. I'm like, okay, let me actually better myself. Especially I'm teaching you guys, we're doing it for Authority Brand, right? Like I'm constantly, leveling up myself as well, right? I'm like, okay, maybe there's other, what are other people doing that maybe I'm not aware of? And so I invested on this. I bought this course, and his whole pitch was he was basically a marketing, video editor or video. I don't even know what exactly his thing is, but he was like, hey, I work with Grant Cardone, right? And he had this like screenshot of him behind Grant Cardone. And so like, okay, he works with Grant Cardone. I like Grant Cardone. I respect him. Let me learn from this guy. Maybe he has something that I don't know. And so I bought the course, and then, I went through it, and my God, it was the first time that I legitimately got super pissed off because, God, it's like, it was so obvious that he was literally reading every effing thing in this thing from ChatGPT. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. I'm really pissed off at this because I'm like, dude, what the F are you doing? And he was like, I don't know. Like, I just felt like super deceived. Like, damn, I invested. But here's the lesson. The lesson is, it was his story and his experience that got me to purchase, right? I'm like, okay, he works for Grant Cardone. I like Grant Cardone. I respect him. Let me learn from this guy, right? And so he actually had rapport with me and trust built in just from him talking about experience and, sharing that. So I actually had trust, and that's why I even bought the thing. But then when I consumed it, the fact that I knew that he was basically literally regurgitating everything from ChatGPT, my trust actually disappeared. And now I'm actually pissed off. And now, shit, I'm even telling this story to you guys. And that's the worst. That's the worst thing you want for your business, because trust is all about reputation, right? Brand is reputation. And so this is the only thing that you cannot reclaim back. If you lose reputation, it is so hard to recover, right? I mean, if you lose money, shit, I could recover that. If I lose my reputation, that is so hard to recover, right? And so I just want to share that with you guys, because with the proliferation of AI, there's so much power that we can really leverage now. But make no mistake, do not just use ChatGPT BS, because instead of helping you, it might actually hurt you. So make sure you actually incorporate your stories, your experience, your expertise, because this is what will actually allow you to connect on a deeper level with your ideal customer. So if you enjoyed that breakdown, don't forget to hit like in this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's more videos just like this one. So go ahead, check them out here, where I break down how to scale your business and close more deals.